everyone, just waiting for people to come in. I'm going to start streaming on Facebook. Let's try Facebook out. Okay, give Facebook a go. Like Facebook should be streaming. Hey, Darren. Already streaming, mate, so
all right. Can you hear me?
Yep. What is all that buzzy sound coming from you, mate?
That could be this sound.
That sounds like it. That does sound like it. Alright, now I need to find out if it's streaming on Facebook right now. Yep.
I'm eating.
Looks like it's streaming on Facebook. It's going click, 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 click. Okay.
Yeah, I know that's. There we go.
Okay. Hello, people already who are here. Yes, it's the pre-show. If you've just joined us and you're lurking not in chat, you should jump into chat. If you don't have chat, well, maybe I can't help you. We're a friendly bunch here. By the way, we are streaming on Facebook as well, I believe. Well, Facebook is telling me that I am. And I'm trying out something pretty cool, actually. I am trying two different internet connections, streaming one through YouTube and one through Facebook. The good thing about this software that I'm using is it actually sends an output and I can pick it up from another computer and stream from there. So that's actually pretty nifty. So two completely separate internet connections, one streaming YouTube, which is the big one, and the smaller one is streaming Facebook. Facebook's only 720p. I can make it bigger, but there's no need. A lot of people on Facebook just watch it on their phone, so you don't need to do 1080 or 4K or anything stupid. Anyway, Discord is up. For those who didn't get the Discord notification, there is a link in where did I put the link? I put it on my Facebook page. I also put it on YouTube's comments section on my channel, so you can find the link to. If you're not on Discord, it's a good idea to jump onto Discord. Discord's pretty cool. Because I do chat in Discord during the week as well. So what else? Twitter's up. If you do hashtag Ramsey on Twitter, you'll be able to post a comment and I'll be able to pick it up through my socials. What else? YouTube obviously isn't working. I've got people chatting already in YouTube. That's cool. Looks like we've got a lot of coolness happening already. Now, what does the stream look like? Let's see what it says. It says analytics. I don't know why it's saying my bitrate is currently 0. You guys in chat, can you hear me all right? Just let us know if you can hear me. It should be more than a bit rate of 0. I think YouTube's just having a shock. It says here, my stream is excellent. Okay. So I believe you. I believe you. Axel's saying, no, you can't hear me. Okay, why can't you hear me? That's weird. You can hear me, can't you, Darren? Oh, everyone's saying all good. All right, cool. Loud and clear. Awesome.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Who else? Whoever's on Facebook, and I know... Oh, looks like vMix just crashed on my other computer. Wow. So whatever was on Facebook will just miss that stream. I'm just going to have to try and see if I can get that going again. Wow. This is not a very powerful laptop. This is just an older laptop. And it doesn't have like a NVIDIA graphics card in it and all those sort of fancy things. So I am going to... This is going to suck because that means I'm going to have to put all my Facebook credentials back in, and I've only got like 9 minutes to do it. NDI, you are annoying me. vMix output, go now. Did it remember my stream settings? Yes. Good boy. Let's see if that works. I hit stream. Now, I hope it doesn't crash again, because that's going to be a pain. I'll have to get a more powerful computer. I don't really want to do that. Facebook's not that important anyway. It says I'm streaming. What is it saying on my phone? Let's have a look. God, you've got to scroll like... You got to scroll for miles down before you start to see your stream. This is really bad. Oh yeah, saying it's live. Cool. Someone in chat can confirm. Some of you got Facebook, I know that. How are we going anyway, everyone? Inky. Inky's just arrived. Hello, she says, without any noise. She's setting her noise up. Let's say
hello?
hi.
Hello, hello. Can
Hello.
you hear me?
I can. Cool.
Good, good.
Awesome. Okay, we're streaming, just so you know. We're also streaming on Facebook too, Inky. So, as long as it doesn't crash again.
Can I sort my camera out? I seem to be really near the camera.
Yeah, go for it. Sort it out. So I'm going to say a quick hi. I'll do this again on the live show, but or the real show, or main show, whatever you want to call it. 888 Berg was first in, so I'll say hi to him first. Hanway, how you going, mate? Axel Soft, how are ya? Herbert Drunksk. I think it might be Herbert Drunksk. If I've got that correct, let me know. How you going, Herbert? Anyway, good to hear. It's good to see you. Brian, nice to see you again. We might get a chance to play your Wave State track that you made. That'll be cool, I reckon, if we can play that. Mickey the Great, good to see you. Barramundi, nice to see you, mate. Mike Pruitt, why in general are guys streaming through a PC when encoders are good and not that much now? I don't know, mate. I just do what the software systems and YouTube allow. If there was something cheaper and better, I would do it. But yeah, there's your answer. Where are we? All good in Chicago. Awesome. That's nice. Chicago, the Windy City. How you going, Finn? Nice to see you, mate. And I think that is about it. And Inky's playing with her camera. So, yes. Now, don't forget, we are streaming via YouTube and via Facebook. Now, I did actually stream via Facebook.
I'm going to have to call back in. I'm on the wrong camera.
No worries. I did actually have to, did stream by accident last week. I actually streamed out of this actual PC. I streamed both YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and it actually really, it worked. So I could actually do it. I'm getting about 100 meg uplink on this link at the moment, which is pretty awesome. And I don't need anywhere near that to stream on both YouTube and Facebook. That's pretty cool. Technical stuff. You guys love that technical stuff. Someone's saying they're on Discord, so let's see. Hanway's on Discord. Awesome. There he is. I'm going to say a quick hi on Discord. Just remember, Discord is not really being monitored during the show, but it'll be, you know, stuff that we can chat in if you get sick of chatting on Facebook or whatever. Just another thing that's there. Just call me Herb. All right. There's an old saying, just don't call me late for dinner. Isn't that, Darren? That's a good one, that one. Whatever you do, don't call me late for dinner. We'll call him Herb, though. Herb's a cool name. I like Herb. All right. How are we going for time? 5 minutes before the main show. Everyone's happy except Inky's frozen. Don't worry, she's calling back in. She'll be back. It'll be all right. I don't think we've got Dazza this week, and he's complaining a lot about the hours that the show's on. You have to. It's kind of late for him. It's what is it now? It would be probably around about midnight over there now, where he lives. So it's kind of a bit of an ask to ask him to stay up for a couple of hours. I am thinking about maybe doing a second show, and this is to help out people who are in the east coast of Australia, and also for those who live on the west coast of the US, who it's too early in the morning to watch this show for them. So I do catch most of the east coast of the US, so I get sort of like anything. Well, we've got Chicago this morning. I do get Canada, sort of Toronto, and then all the way across to Boston and down the coast that way. We've had people from Miami as well. So I do catch that, but it's a little bit early in the morning for anything sort of further west in the US. So yeah, they can always watch the replay, but it'd be nice to sort of get a different audience anyway. And I don't know yet if it's going to be the same show or a different show or what, but yeah. Thinking about it, no one's really sort of got back to me. But yeah, let us know through socials or through this chat or anything like that if you think it's a good idea. Have we got 3 minutes to go? Mike saying he streams every week at my church through a Vivi U Pro, so easy, and it's $700. Cool. Well done, mate. Nice work. I actually use this PC for other things other than streaming. I use it for video editing. I use it for watching Netflix. I use it for heaps of stuff. So, you know, it serves more than one purpose. It's not just a streaming machine. And also the other laptop is still going strong. So, confirming that it's still live on Facebook. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't really have a lot of people that sort of hang around on Facebook, but I just thought I'd try it as a little bit of a geeky sort of start anyway. Okay, we are going to be starting the show very soon. Now, Inky's paused still. I don't know why she's not ringing in yet, but anyway, we'll just have to probably start it without her. We've got about a minute or two to go. Everybody get ready, grab a drink of something. I've got water here. It's actually really, really hot and humid here today. So if you see sweat dripping off my head, it's because it actually is really, really hot. Probably in this room, it's 10 o'clock at night here, and it's probably still in the mid 30s centigrade Celsius. Yeah, pretty hot. Probably about 85% humidity. In Dallas, 7:45 a.m. Wow, Saturday morning, beautiful. Grab your bowl of what is it, Cocoa Pops or Wheaties, cornflakes, and a coffee, and watch the stream. Awesome. Dallas, hey? So that's kind of central, isn't it, Dallas? It's more kind of a central time. A little bit sort of closer to the east more than over to the west, that is, anyway. So that's cool. It's nice. It's nice that I'm getting half of the US anyway. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I chose this time zone. It was kind of hard. It's hard for me to do it late, but that's, you know, life. And you know, Darren's world, what is it, Darren, over there? It's about 2 p.m. Just hit 2 p.m. there for you. Cool. He's munching away, so you can just do sign language right now, mate. Yeah, anyway, let's hit the stream. Let's hit the main show. So here we go. Boom. Main show time. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Another Saturday has popped around. Geez, how does that happen, hey? It was just Saturday the other day, wasn't it? Surely. Gosh, weeks just fly by. Who thinks weeks just fly by? I think they just go too quick. Anyway, maybe it's because we're having too much fun. Anyway, big warm welcome to you all, and without further ado, let's say quick g'day to everybody that's here. We'll start off with ladies first, of course. Hello there, Lisa, and we all know her as Inky. How you going?
Yay, great week. And you?
Very good, very good. You're a little bit crackly, but we can work with that. I don't know if it's your connection, but we'll see if we can work with that anyway. But it's good to have you on the show. Absolutely, we love having you on the show each week. I'm going to quickly jump over to Darren. Big hello to you, mate.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh, bit too much echo. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, mate. We all tested that before, and the audio is good this week. So looks like we've ironed out any of those bugs. That's awesome, mate. You've had a good week.
That.
You've had a good week.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. It's been okay. Trying to crack this track that I'm doing for tomorrow. So it might not be a decent video, but I'm still working on the track. It's been a bit of a pain. But other than that, yeah, fine.
Fabulous. Awesome. Well, anyway, there we all are. There's only three of us today. We're missing Dazza or anyone else. I didn't really get a chance to organise anyone else this week. And it's not like I've got like a massive list of people that are dying to jump on. So, they're all scared. So I've put the chatties below us because they're all part of us. Anyway, I do want to say hi to all the chatties, so let's do that. Let's pop over here. This looks pretty groovy, doesn't it? All right, so we're going to start right up from the start, and I'm going to probably miss someone, but anyway, you can just scream at me. Throw your coffee at your screen or something if I miss you. So starting off from 888 Berg, big hello to you. Hanway Wiesner, hello. Axel Soft Music, how are you going? Herbert, we'll call him Herb. He's on there for the first time, I believe. This is awesome to see you. Bryan, how's it going? Nice to see you come back. And we're going to see if we can get a chance to play Bryan's Korg Wave Stage track. Because he's got a Korg Wave Stage. He's made a track on it, so that'll be cool to see. A bit later if we get a chance. Mickey the Great, how you going? Barramundi, of course, how are you, mate? Mike Pruitt, nice to see you. I think your first time here as well. And who else have we got? Jeez, there's a lot of people here. Scrolling down. Finn, how's it going? Nice to see you again. And I don't know if I've missed anybody because the scrolling just disappeared on me. I know I've missed someone. You know when you scroll and then if your mouse moves off the corner of that screen, it just it's just done that on me and I'm trying to scroll. Anyway. If I've missed anyone, like I said, throw something at the screen. Oh, Inverted Popes, of course. How you going? And Dusty. So happy Saturday from Midwest USA. Wow, we're getting some people from the mid of USA, which is pretty early off, I believe. It's in, it's what is it? 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning there. Wow. Anyway, I hope you guys have wiped the sleep out of your eyes and you're having an awesome time. Well, it's very late over here where I am. It's mid-afternoon where the other guys are. Anyway, let's get stuck into the show. We've got quite a bit on. Now, obviously, the topic this week is Darren actually set the topic this week, so we're gonna make Darren run with the topic. No, we'll work something out. But Darren set the topic. I thought it was a good one. We're going to talk about workflow, tips and tricks, inspiration, things like that. I think it's a good topic. There's actually a really good list growing now of topics that we've got going into the future. So we're probably about a month or two ahead in topics now. So, and sometimes I might jump the queue if it's a really good one. Anyway, so for those who have never been to watch the stream before, I do a couple of regular segments and they're really cheesy and I hope you enjoy them. And we start off with Funny Side. Welcome to the end of the internet, and this is where things are supposed to be funny, and you're going to be disappointed. That's right, because this is the funny side. And we start off by scaring memes, and this one is the first one that I found that I thought was reasonably mildly amusing. So this is a conversation that two blokes are having. And I can read it for you if you want to sit back and don't want to read the fine print. What kind of music do you like? Oh, whatever kind you like, but the earlier stuff. Well, I like the unreleased demos, so yeah, but I like the stuff they never even recorded. Me too. That's good. That is really good. So that one definitely had to go on there. Who has had someone sort of talk like that to them? I definitely have. So that one kind of hit close to home. This one made it because I really just thought the artwork on this was brilliant. Someone's gone to a lot of trouble to make a Lego box look like synths. And it's mention of 1983 and Depeche Mode is in there. Construction set again. And they've got the emulator and even the characters look a bit Depeche Mode-y, don't they?
That's cool. I want a poster of that.
It is actually really high res too. So whoever put it up, they've done a really high res version of it. You probably could poster it. I reckon it's awesome. So it's not really, it's kind of funny, but it's not really. It's more just, that is cool. Who would buy Lego like that? I would. I reckon that'd be awesome. Anyway, let's move along. This one's good. When you sell your favourite synth to buy that engagement ring. Now what we're doing is we're looking at his face. And then we're looking at her face. She's very smitten. And he's got that look. Like, oh my God, what have I done? I don't know. Has that happened to any of you guys yet? You guys need to check that out. Okay, what else we got? One more. Promise. That's all. I'm not going to put you through too much hell. So here we go. We've got a video with three guys, 20 hardware synths, and it's got 279 views. And there's a little kid on FL Studio with a whole bunch of VSTs, and he's got 222 million views. So yeah, I thought that one makes all the doorless jammers feel really, really happy about themselves. There we go. That's funny side for the week. Yes, you've made it through it. It wasn't too bad. What do you guys think of funny side this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that poster though.
Yeah, the Lego was cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was cool.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we do have some news. There's actually a little bit of news, which is actually pretty cool because, you think after NAMM that it would sort of dried up like you'd see tumbleweeds sort of flowing through the desert after NAMM, but people are still doing stuff. So let's roll the stinger for news. And if you are living under a rock, you probably haven't seen this, but this is like a little graphic. I've just taken a screenshot. Does anyone recognize what this is from? Well, if you don't, you have been living under a rock because Elektron have just announced that in about 2 days or so, 4 days or so, let me just get my show notes so that I don't muck it up. 4 days away, 26th of February, they are teasing something new. And they did a little Twitter video. If you haven't got Twitter, jump onto Twitter and have a look at Elektron's video. I'm not going to play it because it's just kind of pretty short and pathetic, but it does sound very drum machine-y. So there's a lot of people who are sort of saying maybe it's a redo of the machine drum, maybe it's an FM drum, maybe it's something new. So it is very drum machine-y sounding, which doesn't surprise me. Any of you guys, Inky or Darren, if you guys have any sort of theories? Did you guys hear about the Elektron announcement? Any of you guys have some theories, Inky?
I saw the video.
Yeah.
But it didn't really say much, did it?
Didn't say anything.
Yeah, what would they do? Would they do like a new oct track, do you think?
They did say the word machines in the bottom of the Twitter post. Machines. So.
Right. So it could just be a Mark III, maybe?
Machine drum Mark III, maybe, yeah. Guys in the chat, you can have your suggestions, perhaps. Did you see that, Darren?
Yeah, I've seen the video, but like Inky, it's not I haven't got a clue what it could be. But I'm not really on the Elektron vibe, really, so I don't really pay much attention to them because I don't get on with their stuff, so...
Yeah.
Not dissing it, by the way.
No, it's fine. All right, we'll keep going. There's a couple of bit more newsy things, and they're not too bad this week. This one I think, Darren, you might actually be more interested in. This is by Squarp Instruments, and Squarp do that sequence, the well-known sequencer. Anyway, they're actually making a Eurorack module, and this is called the Rample Wave System. Now, I'm just reading my notes so I don't sound like an idiot. It's actually a 4-voice advanced sample player. It's not a sampler, it's a sample player, but it also has an audio processor in it. Now, what actually is pretty cool, I think, is that it can play technically no end to how long that sample is. So it's kind of like some of those, like it's like a streaming player. Like it can play, if you've got a massive SD card, it could play, technically hours of audio. And the other thing it can do is you can actually layer the 4 samples together. It does up to 4 samples, by the way, and you can layer them, or you can affect them. There's a kind of a whole bunch of stuff you can do with it. And also, don't forget to because it's Eurorack, it's got a whole bunch of CV on it. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And just so we know what it is, there's no video this week, but price is around, I thought, pretty reasonable. $269. These are US dollars. And it's available now, or March. I mean, we might as well say it's now. It's only, it's a leap year this year. We've got an extra day in February. But anyway, it's available now-ish, a couple of weeks. Any thoughts? We'll go to you, Darren. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it looks good. It's quite cheap as well, considering that type of module. They're usually going up around the £400 mark, so that sounds quite cheap.
Yeah. Inky, do you have any sort of burning desire to get some Eurorack, or are you still resisting?
I think if I got the nifty case, that'd be it, wouldn't it?
You'd be gone. Yeah.
I'd be gone. But yeah. No, I'm not looking at it at the moment. My bank manager won't let me look at it at the moment.
Fair enough. All right, one more news article. Articum. That's a new word, articum. You can use that. I'll let you guys use that word. I like effects pedals. You guys know that. I'm into effects pedals. I love new effects pedals. I especially love glitchy craziness effects pedals. And this one fits right in that. And they've called it a Microcosm, and it's by a company called Hologram Electronics. I actually didn't know about these guys. Doesn't mean they're not big or little or anything like that. I just never heard of them. Anyway, I'm sure they're pretty cool. So this one offers advanced granular and looper effect algorithms as an effects pedal. It offers 11 different effects with 44 preset variations, and you can stretch, slice, rearrange, and mangle your audio input. So it does it on the fly, and I like stuff that can mangle audio on the fly. I don't necessarily like things that have to record and then you have to mangle and then you have to sync to beat and that. I like things that can do it straight away. So this is pretty cool. There's a built-in pitch modulation, and it also has a low-pass resonant filter and a whole bunch of other effects, including a big 4-mode stereo reverb. Now, you can also use this as a stereo phrase looper. I nearly said phase. It's a phrase looper, so it's a typical sort of phrase looper type pedal, and it will capture up to 60 seconds of a phrase, which is pretty cool. Priced at $449 US dollars, and it's available in April. Don't have a video of this. Probably is one, but yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys. It does seem pretty interesting. Any of you guys interested in that? The Microcosm by Hologram Electronics.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Nice.
I like that. It looks cool. It looks a bit like clouds from... Are we still streaming? I've just looked at our thing and it looks like it's paused.
No, we're still streaming according to me.
All right.
Analytics still say we're still streaming. Yep.
Must be mine then.
Okay.
Yeah, no, looks
still
good.
streaming. Yep. Awesome. Inky, you were going to say
Yeah,
something.
I like the look of this, but we need to hear it, don't we? We need to hear what it sounds like, really.
Yeah. I didn't have a video, I'm sorry. So maybe we could probably revisit it next week, and if I do find a video on it, we can revisit it. It feels a little bit empty if you don't have a video to show. But anyway, sometimes products that get launched sort of early in the year after NAMM, after missed NAMM and it's not super booth, it's kind of this void. They're really kind of early announcements. So anyway, we'll see how we go. Now let's keep an eye quick on chat because that's going nuts. So we'll just quickly pop over to chat. And let's see if anyone's made any comments about... Herb has said the Microcosm looks fantastic with the pH. I like that. It was a good pun there. Talking about other products that have been previously announced, we won't go into those because they get almost weekly mentions on every single social media platform, so I'm sick of giving them free plugs. Yeah, and if I've missed a few people, Michael Elliott's just popped in, so a big g'day to you. And who else? I think I've got them. Got everyone. Awesome. Okay, we'll keep going. There is another segment. Oh, Chon's in, which is and Tweak is in. Cool. Good, you guys just popped in right at the last second. I was about to go to the next segment. All right, we're going to go to the next segment anyway. I do have some scammy prices. Yay! I love doing this. This is cool. I love it when we can find some scammy prices. Don't you guys agree? It's cool fun, isn't it? All right, here we go. Behringer. Here we go. Someone's already trying it. Well, I knew this would happen. Darren, I knew this would happen, mate. Roland SH101 in the title, and it's actually a Behringer MS1. And look at the prices. So aren't they having a bit of a naff there, aren't they? Hey?
Just a bit. I don't think even the SH101 on its own's that much.
I'm gutted. Can you guys guess why I'm gutted?
Yeah, because they don't post to Australia.
Oh, I'm so gutted. I'm really, really... Yep, you got it, Inky. This is...
Is it...
I'm going to have to
sold
get it...
by Balamory, someone in Balamory, because that's a kids' TV programme round here.
Yeah, I know Balamory.
That's on the Isle of Man.
Aren't they Scottish, the Balamory? I think they're Scottish,
It probably cost them that to get it delivered then. It's probably not...
I think I might need to borrow your address, Inky, and I'll get it posted to your house, and then you can post it onto me. Jeez, this is crazy. I mean, £2,350, £1,000, that is.
It's got 100% feedback.
It's got 100% feedback. He's pulled it. He has pulled it, by the way. This is no longer available, so he's done a bit more than pull that too, let me tell you. I think he's pulling a few other things. Anyway, moving right along. What happened to my mouse? There we go. I got another one. This one's from Reverb. Yes, another Waldorf. I love it when now Waldorf are starting to appear. Waldorf Q Rack. And yes, it comes with sorry, I just screwed that up. It comes new with dent. I love that in the title. New with dent. Bottom left-hand corner. Who's been gassing for a dent like that? I really have. I mean,
Would you just knock it out before you photographed it?
Nearly 4,600 Australian dollars. What's that? It's almost £3,000. Yeah, that's just crazy. That is just crazy. Anyway, it's made in Germany and it's blue and it's unused. Now, this is the question I've got. If it's unused, how did it get the dent?
Well, yeah, it's been unused since many years.
Last time you dropped it.
Yeah. I mean, look at those knobs. They look like rusty, don't they?
It's like an old joke that you say when you see one of your mates who's had a car crash and you go, oh, it'll buff out. Oh, jeez.
That's cruel. I would never to my mate. You might. I would never.
I like that one anyway. That would have to probably come up to one of the best we've seen, I reckon, that one. All right, and the last one is someone just thinking that this must have been one of the world's best Yamaha mixes ever made. The Pro Mix 01. It's a digital mixer with auto fade and I don't know what. I think there's a German word, so someone can actually tell us what they translate to. But it says Wandler. Okay. Now I'm just. What does that mean? Does that mean we can take it for a walk? Go for a bit of a wander? I don't know. Someone who's got some German language can definitely tell us that. But 2,200 euros, which is it says there 1,800 pounds. Oh wow! It will post to Australia. Oh yes! I'm so in luck with this one. Anyway,
You don't need to buy that one though, Ramsey.
No,
Because I have the O1V, so you can have that for cheaper.
you would knock $1 off, will you?
Yeah, fiver.
Fiver. Oh, guys, that was probably one of the best. I have to admit, one of the best eBay scams. They were all quite humorous, weren't they? It's like they were all just waiting, for a few weeks of nothing, and then they just popped out.
You know when that MPC one was released, I saw someone trying to sell an MPC Touch for £800 the same week. They obviously thought, oh, I gotta get, but
NPC Touch, yeah, it's about as useful as my Native Instruments Machine Studio. They're all pretty useful, those things that require laptops. Dearie me. All right, so we have made it through our usual segments. So thank you for being patient for those. Now, tell us in chat if you think they're worth waiting through, because I do kind of punish everyone with them each week. Okay, so what have we got this week? Well, we're going to talk about workflow, and when we say workflow, I guess most of us here, we're not all hardware, but we kind of do have hardware, like you can see hardware, and we kind of use DAWs. I know Darren and I both are Ableton users, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or good if you use something else. And Inky is a non-DAW user. She likes to use all hardware. She's completely, dare I say it, doorless. Yes. It's almost bad to say that term now, isn't it?
I record into a DAW, so I still use the DAW. I haven't gone to the point where I've got my little Zoom H5 or whatever it is, 2 whatever it is, out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So you record into a DAW. What DAW do you record into, by the way? I never actually asked you that.
Logic, because then it's easier to drop videos into.
Yep, on your Mac. Cool.
That's what I use it for.
Herb is saying Wandler is German, and you can say it's equivalent to converter. Okay. So they must be talking about, I think they're talking about on that, we'll get that little picture back up again so we can see what we're talking about. No, I pressed the wrong button. Stop. There. I reckon he's talking about some sort of voltage converter, maybe. Or maybe it's that thing on the left. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? Anyway, so let's talk about workflows. Now, also, while we've got everyone on the stream, we're also not just doing this, we're also going to be talking about tips and tricks and inspiration, yes, as well. And we are also going to be, if we get time, we're going to show Bryan's wave state track, or listen to it. I'm not going to be able to, there's no video with it, so we can do that. And also, as a little treat for someone who asked me so nicely during the week, I am also going to show, yes, there is the Elektron Analog 4, and it's real. There you go. Why have I got this here? Well, someone has asked me about there's a video that I've put on my channel last year with the new firmware upgrade, and it enables this thing to send MIDI out. Now, so you can use this as a MIDI sequencer if you want, if you see good the sounds. It's an expensive MIDI sequencer. Anyway, they're asking me if it does a couple of things, so we can check that out if we have time. If not, it'll be in the after show. We'll definitely do it in the after show. So that's kind of towards the end, and you never know, you guys might be interested in that too. Cool. All right, so let's start with Darren. Darren, I'm going to go over to you, mate. Tell us a little bit about why you set the topic and where you want to sort of. I'm going to let you control it. Where you want to go with it this week.
Well, I came up. Well, I think we've mentioned it before, quite a while back, about how how you work, but we hadn't really gone into it in depth. And I wouldn't say I'm messing about with a track, a remix that I'm going to put out tomorrow, and I'm like, I was really, really trying to get it down, and it's been sat in the folder for the past couple of months. And I thought, when I had the original idea, I started working on it, and I think I got about halfway through, and then it's sort of like either lost inspiration with it or just didn't know where to go with the track. And I was just thinking, how do each of us, whether we use the DAW or we just jam, or how would we actually come up with our inspiration for the work we're doing, and how we sort of like, progress when we get to a certain situation. So if we're stopping because you can't seem to find out how to carry on with your track or with your jam, and I just thought it'd be quite good to sort of like look in depth to each of us how we do it. So like how you would do it, Ramsey, and how Hinky does her jams, and how she comes up with inspiration, or how she likes to, how you use your equipment as well. Because like you say, a lot of us either have work in the box or hardware, or like we were sort of like combine both, so we're working in the box and with the hardware as well. And I just thought it'd be good to sort of like look in depth how we do each of our processes.
Yeah, okay. Well, where do we start? I mean, I guess, Inky, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first, just to be polite?
Not mine.
Okay. All right. Inky, your audio is still crackly. I don't know what's going on there.
Do you want me to phone back in?
No, I think it's okay now. I think it just crackled for a second. I think it's okay now. All right, cool. I'll go first, and that'll give you a chance to sort of do a better job than me, because you can go after. All right, so here we go. Okay, so workflow. Let's be honest. Workflow doesn't always have to be the same each time you approach making something from scratch, and it might be it actually probably will differ depending on what type of track you're making, and it also will probably differ if you were doing something commercial that you're being paid to do versus if you're doing something for the love and creative for yourself. So so maybe if I take it from the point of view that you're just doing something for yourself and it's just creative, like what Darren's doing, probably like most of the stuff that I do, and I think most of us would probably be in that sort of boat. That way we can sort of park the commercial stuff off to the side, and it doesn't really sort of conflict what we're doing. So for me, I start off hardware only, and I like to I use the MPC as kind of like a central point where I'll build. So it depends. I might sort of explore sounds first. I might sound design, and then I think, wow, that's a cool sound. I will keep going with that. Or I might decide to just start off with a beat and some bass. It really actually depends on the type of track that I'm looking at doing. So remembering, because sometimes we do ambient work, we do fast paced stuff. We might do depend on the genre that you're sort of making. So in that point, it doesn't really matter what you start with, and what kind of Darren is sort of alluding to is when you get to the point where you kind of get stuck and you've got so much down, and then where do you go next with it? And I found myself doing that actually like just the other day, and I'm actually glad you asked that, because I actually had that same problem, and we all have that problem, I'm sure. And kind of what I did is I ended up unplugging some gear over here. So you might notice that the TR8 isn't there this week. You might notice the mini log is back up. And I also, so in terms of all the gear that's changed here, I've also added Volkers over here. And yeah, so what I did that on purpose, because I actually wanted to give myself something new to sort of, I was getting stuck with everything else, so I gave myself something new to start exploring sounds with. And all of a sudden, that just went crazy. And then I found, and it's completely unrelated, but then I started bringing samples into the MPC, and then I started bringing more tracks in and then mangling and stuff like that. so that was kind of a trick that I had, and I've used it before, where when you get stuck, I'll start bringing new stuff in to sort of inspire myself to keep exploring. And you know, I'll go through. There's a track in development right now, which I was playing right at the start of the stream too, by the way. So I can go through and show you a little bit about how that progresses for me. Yeah. So in that case, that's just hardware only. So workflow, it's really pretty much you're just building its layers. It's very similar to working in a DAW. You're building tracks, you're building layers, and then what you find is then you'll start to work with a sequence of those layers, and then from there you'll start to work in a song structure. So then you might have to have, you know, depending on what type of song it is, but you might have a chorus and a verse and other elements like a drop, or do you know what I mean? Like you're going to build your track that way. So you're going to have some dark, light, and shade, and you know what I mean? Like you're going to build feeling and emotion, and you'll start, you know, mixing it up with those kind of ideas, and you might then sort of bring a melody throughout it, so it's like it gels everything together. So that might be constant. It might not necessarily be the same instrument that's playing that melody. You might have that melody repeated with a bass line, and that melody repeated with a lead. So that's kind of my workflow. Is that kind of what sort of thing that you were after, Darren? Because I will talk about DAW in a sec, but that's kind of hardware wise. Was that kind of what you were sort of after?
Yeah, it's just a general hour work, because like I say, when I got stuck, I find because I start off in the DAW rather than in the hardware. Yeah. The hardware is basically my sound palette. I don't really. It's very rare that I end up jamming and get an idea from that and it goes into the DAW. It's usually the other way around. It starts from the DAW and then it migrates out to the hardware. So if I have ideas that come in from the DAW and I want to sort of either create sound or I have a sound in mind, then I'll work outwards and then bring that in. I mean, occasionally I get ideas, I get riffs or nice loops that I like that then go back into the DAW and then I'll work from there on. Yeah. And also I think a tip I'd say is if you do get stuck on an actual track, even if it's halfway through and you've been banging at the track for a few days and it just doesn't seem to go anywhere, is to leave that track alone, put it in a folder, leave it alone, start at least a couple of other tracks. Don't go sort of wanting to make a track, but start with other ideas on a completely fresh session, and forget that track that you're working on, and then come back to that track in a week or so, and you'll usually find that you have ideas that you've had from other tracks that weren't working, and suddenly, bang, this track that you've been stuck on, you release a life on it, and that's what's happened with this remix that I'm doing tomorrow. Is where that became about. It was, I knew I wanted to remix it, and I knew how I wanted to go, but halfway through, it just came to a big halt. But now I'm hoping to get it up tomorrow. So that was where the sort of idea came across, because I'd left this track on the back burner it's got to be before Christmas, and I just came back to it, and ideas from other tracks that I'd been writing suddenly give you that inspiration to work on the new track or the track that you'd left behind, and all of a sudden it's sort of the last half of the track now flows, and that's what I was getting down to. Yeah, that's cool. So that's awesome. Actually, I will probably before I go to you, Inky, I'll probably just sort of add one other thing. So what I was talking about before is really prior to you getting to the point where you've been so stuck that you have to park. You actually, literally, what Darren said, you have to park the whole track and start something completely different. And what I do is, I don't know if you guys have probably seen already on my channel, I do like jams, and those jams are just ideas, and a lot of them are really probably they'll never even eventuate into songs. And there are jams that I do that won't even make it to my channel because I just think they're so crap. But that's kind of what I do. Now, getting sort of to the next step, what I was talking about before with making sort of building a track. I'll just bring it over to here. So I'll sort of move over, which means I'm going to be a little bit quieter on the mic. But you can see within the MPC Live,
you can see these are all the tracks that I've got waiting. They're kind of armed and disarmed. So the ones that have got yellow around them are armed, and the ones with red around them are disarmed. And you can control them from the pads or from the screen. So I can turn, they're all MIDI tracks or clip tracks. I can turn them on and off, you know, and you can actually build your tracks that way. Now, when you go into the MPC, you can see all the different tracks in here. You can see some are MIDI, most of them are MIDI, right? So let's go to the main bass line. So there's the main bass line there, and you can see that's the actual track that I'll be using for the bass line. All right, so let's just go back to a different view. I'm going to go back to here, and I'll just play the bass line with some drums. So the bass line is a Moog sub 37. It's just behind me there. Here we go. Now we're going to need to unmute that. Sorry. So that might just be, do you know what I mean? That's just a little motif there for you to start inspiring yourself from. And then what you do is you just build on that. So the next thing I will do is maybe have a little sequence. And this is the Waldorf rocket. So you start building, right? Then you might want to bring some little melodies in, so you start building on that. So everything is in the same key, and it will follow the bass progression and it just keeps going. And obviously I'm not going to play the whole thing, but that's kind of how I build. And then, you know, like I said before, I got to a point where I got sort of stuck. So that's when I brought the mini log out. And the mini log, I just did this. Here we go. That's the mini log by itself. So a bit of randomness. Sometimes a bit of randomness is good for a track. So that's kind of my workflow. That's kind of how I work. And I mean, that's a track in development I've got now. So it's nowhere near finished. I haven't even started on working out choruses and verses and, you know, light and shade or anything like that. I've got an idea. I kind of have a sort of a feeling where I'm going to go with it. But yeah, then that is before I get into the DAW. This is all just raw. Would you say that, Inky? Would you say that's kind of raw? And then from there it becomes something a bit more than a bit of rawness. And I think it's a good segue for you, Inky, to talk about your workflow, if you're ready. Or you can run away if you want.
Workflow. Yeah, James said it should be fun flow, and it should be. When it's going right, it is fun flow, but when it's going wrong, it is like work, isn't it? So I always start with the drums, put a kick drum in, and then do all the drums, and then do a bass. And then it's about that point, if I start thinking about making an instrument out of samples or something like that, I then know that this track is never going to get released. Because if I've stopped to think about it, I'm like experimenting, which might lead on to something that's really released, but that track will never get released. Because for me, it's really working after when it's all coming together and you don't really know how it's happening, but you can feel it, the energy, the sound. It's almost like being in a super good mood.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes. Because
sometimes I'm listening to it and it sounds like I'm having a bit of a moan, and the music, it's sounding like a bit like moaning. Yeah, so I think it's a lot to do with what sort of mood you're in, and you can't really fake that, can you?
Yeah, you're right.
So you could try all the tricks, but you've got to just kind of, cross your fingers and hope for luck. Really, that's my game plan.
So it's like a feel. It's like an emotional sort of thing for you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why sometimes there'll be like a year full of music, and then there might be like 1 or 2 tracks in a year, because I don't know if it's my perception, but if I don't get the feeling, it doesn't matter what equipment or what logically I think of the track, it really comes down to that feeling when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's it. If I don't get that feeling, then I can't work on it. That's why I can't work on a door, because
Yeah.
my brain doesn't work.
Yeah, that's really, really good point you brought up. I mean, it's something that I definitely would agree. I probably do it as well, but I don't actually know if I'm even conscious I'm doing it. So it's good that you're conscious that you're doing it. What about you, Darren? Are you feeling sort of some mood, a vibe? Are you feeling what you're doing? Is that kind of how you work, or are you more methodical?
A bit of both, I think. Definitely feeling how the track goes, because that that sort of states what sort of style it will be in, I suppose. I think, was it Finn, I think, said, was it drums, bass, melody, what do you come... I wouldn't say I start with anything particular. I don't necessarily start with drums. I don't necessarily start with melody. It's usually a snippet. It can be a melody snippet, it can be a drum snippet, anything that'll start a track off. So I don't like to sit down and go, I'm going to start with my drums and then make a beat, and then as I work from that beat, so it could be a 4 on the floor at 125 BPM.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I basically will just... One thing I will say is, no matter what track you do, and if you do use samples, don't worry about what genre sample pack you've got, because quite often I will jump into a drum and bass pack and take bits from that and then put it into an ambient track at like 120 beats per minute, and the original was 172. So I pay no attention to what style of sample pack or sample it is, or what BPM it's come off. I don't care what, whether it's 100 BPM faster or whatever. It doesn't matter to that. I just put that into the track because I know that'll work. So don't worry about, don't have a track and think, I've got a techno track here at 120 beats per minute, and I don't, in my packs I've got nothing that'll fit or nothing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But you might hear a sound in a drum and bass at 172, and you slow it down or you play with it and put it into your track. So it doesn't matter. I pick it out from anywhere. My samples can come from anywhere.
Yeah, I have to agree. In fact, I very, very rarely will use a sample and use it exactly how it was originally made. I actually mangle them, warp them, reverse them, chop them. So I'm very, very much conscious of like making the sample a bit more my own. Now, while we've got a few comments flowing through the chat room, I just thought I'd bring some up here. So Sonic's saying, if you get stuck musically, you can go buy a few more synths. So there's that one. I've just put that one down below. That was pretty cool. It was pretty much what I was saying, except I don't buy. Finn, this is the comment that you were referring to, Darren, with Finn saying drums, melody, kick or bass, tempo or timbre. Whatever floats your boat, start on any of them. In fact, if you find that you're starting on one all the time, try it a different way next time. Axel Soft is saying that you can never have too many ARPs, and I completely agree with that. So I thought that was a good comment as well. So there we
ARPs, I tell you what, not just ARPs. If you ever if you ever stuck, just put a load of ping pong delay and reverb on anything, and then you definitely.
That's what I do.
Now you know my trick. You can go down an ambient track.
Now you know my trick. No, now you guys now going to go and copy everything I do. No, I'm just joking. So you know, I think the point is it's kind of we all have different workflows, and I don't think if anyone's really sort of here thinking I really need to learn how to do a workflow, my advice would be just start with something and just let your heart sort of guide you. Let your emotions, like Inky said, let the spirit world or whatever you want. Gee, this camera is a bit glitchy today. It's weird. And maybe I've got too much stuff going on the computer. No, it says it's okay. CPU 22%. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now, so speaking of workflow, I mean like Inky said, let's call it fun flow. There's quite a lot of nice comments going through chat, so some of those are really good, and we'll keep up with them as we can. The next thing would probably be what you're going to do once, like Darren, he starts in the DAW. I don't. Sometimes I do. Depends on how I'm feeling, but usually I don't. But one of the things I like to do, and I've just brought Ableton in because I was going to show the Elektron Analog 4 before. But one of the things I will probably do is once I've got the track sort of working a bit more from a live hardware sort of point of view, the next step for me will be to stem it out, to record any of the MIDI clips, which you can see I've already started to do here with something else. And then I'll multi-track it, and it's kind of, for me, Ableton is kind of more the polished side of things. So I'm going to be bringing it into here to, to kind of get everything working a little bit less chaotically and sort of have a bit more control over it. I can mix. There's a lot of things you can do in a DAW that you may not be able to do necessarily as easily with hardware. I'm not saying you can't, but it just makes things a bit easier to sort of polish everything up. You kind of got to be a little bit careful too, because you can fall into the trap with DAWs and everything can be a little bit too clinical, can be a bit too quantized, it can be a bit too perfect, and I very much can't stand that sort of trap that DAWs kind of tend to force yourself into. So I on purpose I might put a swing in something, or I might purposely pan tracks so that they're not perfectly in the center, and I do crazy things to annoy people as well. I like to annoy people. But yeah, so for me it's chaos is kind of a big rule of thumb for me. But like with that mini logs motif that I showed before, it was all nice on the beat and everything, but it was a bit chaotic. The notes weren't quite falling into place where the bass line was out, so it was kind of trailing, but it kind of then caught up. And I like to put chaos in music because it gets people sort of listening. It gets them sort of thinking, oh, what was that? So it's kind of that's the theory anyway. In terms of Ableton, it's a pity I can't show more than one screen at the same time here, but yeah, if you've got a different DAW like Logic or Studio One, or it doesn't matter really what you got, they're all pretty similar. They just have a different workflow within them. So if you're here on this channel wondering, are we going to be talking about DAW workflows? I don't think we should, because I think that's a completely different topic, because each DAW will have its own internal workflow that you have to comply with, because that's how the software works. And Ableton, there's some people that absolutely can't stand how it's got the arrangement view and the session view, those two views. People can't stand that. They actually prefer to have it so that you can see it all, like in Pro Logic or whatever. So, it's really, that's kind of not where we're going to be going today. Okay, so let's see if we can catch up on chatties. Darren, are we sort of still on track with what you're sort of wanting us to do this week? While I catch up with chatties?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is there anything that you want to add? Just give me a chance to read through the chats.
Another thing about, like I say, we're not going to go into workflow on DAWs because everyone has a different DAW, and yeah, you all workflow different, because even my workflow on my DAW is probably not how someone else would workflow, because sometimes I take the long route round, even though there's shorter ways, because It's just the way mine works. For instance, in Ableton, you can record your session view sort of live into the arrangement view, so you get a rough sketch of an actual track. Well, I don't do that. I like to actually drag and drop and sort of plan out in my mind how the track's going to go. So that would be, I would say, quite a long-winded way of doing it, but it's probably the way my mind works on the track.
See, this is why I find it, so interesting how Darren works, because literally everything he does is the opposite to me. So in that case, I'd be like, no, I'm definitely playing and recording it in. But his whole mindset of how he works and how he creates music is amazing to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little bit jealous. Do you know what I mean?
No,
carry on.
Be inspired. Absolutely.
But I've tried
that way. I've tried that way, and I gave up music trying that.
I could say that about jamming, because I don't always, I don't jam. I don't feel that sort of, if I'm jamming something, I get bored and I sort of like create a track around what I'm doing, and I want to go away and then write that track out rather than carry on jamming. And that's why my sort of jamming falls down, because I'd start jamming and I go, oh, I really like this section, and I'd just scrap what I'm doing, record that bit in it. Then I'd be hours working on a track that's come from that one little section of me jamming. So that's how I do get ideas, but I can't like sit there or stand there doing a full jam of letting it flow, blending things in, because I just get so sidetracked and want to go off and do something else, because I think the bit that I've just jammed I really like, and I want to turn that into a whole track in its own right.
Yeah, and I think in a way what Inky's kind of saying is that I can understand why Darren does what he does, because he's kind of using Ableton to benefit his workflow in a way. He's got his own workflow, but Ableton is actually, it's there to support it. Does that make sense? So he's not necessarily conforming to Ableton. He's actually using it to benefit how he does it. And that way then he's got that, you know, it's different to you, Inky, whereas you're sort of more in front of the gear, and as it comes to you, you're just sort of, you know, punching it out. It's kind of, it's more sort of organic, you know, instantaneous, if that makes sense. Is that kind of how you would agree or disagree?
For years, I've just looked at the computer and tried with ideas, and everything I think about, I just hate. And not many other people like it either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I think because I was a DJ for so long.
Yeah, that could be the reason.
And I really get it. I've used DAWs for, you know, since the 90s, but I get mind blank. I just look at it and go, well, I suppose I should find a drum sound, and then I'm lost. I've lost it.
I get.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I get Inky's way. You see, with being the DJ, in that DJ vibe, and being the DJ in the all those. Let's be careful. I'll say. Way back when, I get that, because
back when Noel was playing halfback for Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Back to the days of house music. Yeah. I get that, because she's jamming, she's sort of DJing out as though she's DJing live, so the jam flows in that respect. Whereas I was the other one. I was listening to those DJs, thinking, I could think how this track or our track would go, and how it would be good for the DJ to play. So that's probably the way we're both in a different way.
Yeah.
So she's following the DJ type route into jamming, which is cool, because I can't do that, and I'm sort of thinking from the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does.
I think we need to team up, Darren. There could be some money in this for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to. You guys should collab. Collab, bro. Okay, so let's go to the chat, because there's been a couple of comments. So Axel said to me, Ranzy, come and look at my comment. And I don't know which one he wanted me to look at, because he made lots of comments. I think this is the one he wanted me to show. The music comes from within. I have no control over that, and some days it's not even there. I think that applies to everybody. I mean, geez, you'd have to be some sort of music machine if you didn't have a day where it wasn't there. And it does. It definitely comes from within. I think a lot of people have been saying the same thing. Yeah, that's definitely true. Axel, let us know if that's the one you wanted me to highlight. If it's not, let us know. And what else? We have, gosh, lots of comments in the chat today. And it's kind of almost impossible for me to keep up and talk about it at the same time. People are talking about how many songs they've made, how they've gone through, bars and loops and things like that. Geosynths, g'day, how you going? He's talking about, let's flag this one. We'll see if we can bring this one up. One sec, let me just remove Xils. There we go. Bang, this should bring his up. Give it a second to catch up. There we go. I've got an 8-bar or 16-bar loop going on a couple of sections, and I copy and paste it over 4 or 5 minutes, and then I rearrange it or arrange it. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I kind of do that too. So that's kind of what I was saying before about mucking around in Ableton. After I've got my hardware side sorted out, I'll then record it into Ableton, and then I might chop it up. It may even be just MIDI that I record in Ableton too. I may not actually record the audio yet. I might just actually play with the MIDI in Ableton, because sometimes I can get a little bit, if it gets really complex, I find the MIDI on MPC Live to be a little bit hard. So you can still do it, but I just find it hard to edit. So I find it easier to edit in Ableton because you've got a bigger screen and keyboard and mouse. So MIDI side, that is, not the audio side. So yeah, definitely agree with you there. Axel Soft is working on a video that explains his 4 key steps to creating a remix. Deconstruct, reconstruct, remix, and remaster. There we go. That's a cool thing. We'd love to see that. Definitely link it in. Now, can we just put a pin in this conversation for a sec? Because I want to get up the well, you guys need to give me a second to bring this up. I need to get up the track for the Korg wave state that Bryan did, and I need to find the link to it now. I've lost it. Dear. Guys, talk amongst yourselves. No, where did it go? Let me grab it here. It's in here. So I've got to go into Facebook, get the link, copy the link, bring it over to another computer and paste it. Hope it works. Okay. All right. Now, guys, I don't have anything to really show you, but I will show you the screen. There's nothing really to watch here. This is Bryan. He's in the chat room right now. This is his Korg wave state track. And let's see if we can get this to work. You guys can tell me if that's working. All right. I reckon that's awesome. Aurora Medi from Bryan Gunsher. Now, obviously you guys can go and play the whole thing. It goes for about 6.5 minutes. Really quite ambient, and the whole reason why we're playing it is Brian's been really quite awesome. He's been sharing his sort of, as a user, which is one of the things I love about the people that aren't being paid to say things about products. This is a real purchaser of the Korg Waystate. He's got it for himself. He's kind of telling us all about it and how he's enjoying it, and he's writing tracks. Now, to me, that is the exact reason why you buy synthesizers. That is the exact reason. If that's inspired him to write a track, which it has, he's now I think he was pretty much saying the whole thing was done on the Korg Waystate. That is friggin' awesome. So well done, mate. If we can applaud on the air, you know, I'm sure all the guys in chat would be doing the same. So well done, buddy. We have to get you know, on a bit more. I think, you know, the Korg Waystate does seem like a pretty cool set. I don't know if you guys saw during the week, Nick from Sonic State actually did a demo of the Korg Waystate. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. It was actually a pretty decent demo, and he wasn't actually holding back. He had a few criticisms of it too. So it was actually good to hear that. So yeah. And yes, it's confirmed that it's on a Raspberry Pi as well. So that's a definite.
Can we give Bryan some subscribers, since I think he needs some subscribers?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, once the video finishes, I will, if Bryan's got a YouTube channel, I will put the link in the description of this video below, but I'll also put a link to that Bandcamp website that track is on, so you guys will definitely be able to go check that out. It'll be definitely in the link below. You
could search on as well if you're on a phone.
You can.
And it temporarily takes you to his, and then brings you back.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. I can't though, because I've got too many windows open. Awesome. All right. So where do we go from next? Next is kind of the next thing that we had to do on the stream, and that was to talk about this thing. The Elektron Analog 4. This is the Mk1, obviously. It's the this was released around about 2012, and I don't know. Elektron kind of seem to be, you know, they brought the Mark II out, and they're kind of calling this legacy now. They kind of have this thing where they bring something out and they make it legacy. I don't think there's a massive difference between the Mark I and the Mark II, if I'm brutally honest. Like, if you were going to go out and buy one, obviously, and you were going to buy a brand new one, then get the Mark II, of course. But if you weren't too sort of worried about getting a used one, the Mark I is perfectly fine. Anyway, the question I had during the week was, does this thing sequence MIDI out? And the answer is yes, of course it does, because that was the new firmware upgrade. But does this thing sequence polyphonically per track? And the answer is yes, and we'll prove it to you. So I recorded on my Ableton, I'll just bring it across now. I recorded a track that was in one of the factory presets. So I haven't done any of this. This is like, and the factory presets date back to 2012. And you can see there in the MIDI clip, that's a polyphonic track. You can see all the different notes, right? And that's just one track. That's MIDI channel 2 coming out of the Elektron Analog. Now, how I've got this set up, I'll just go to this shot so you can see. I've got this connected, you can see the USB connection. That's connected to Ableton directly. And there's no MIDI or anything, it just does it through Ableton. And you can go into Ableton and you can see in the MIDI that the Analog 4, here it is there. You can see it comes in, and you also can see it coming out as well. So when you actually, different for different DAWs, but you can actually select the Analog 4 here, and then you can choose which track you want to record. So this is MIDI coming out of the Analog 4 straight into Ableton. So that actually confirms the question that I had, and I actually didn't know the answer to that. It was actually really cool to find that out. And the other thing that you must do when you're actually doing with the new MIDI out feature is per track. You've got all your tracks here. You've got your 4 analog tracks here. you must go function note, right? And notice there's a new option here, depending on what track you're on. See how it says send MIDI, and notice how it's ticked. So you can actually turn that off by hitting yes or no, like that. And you do it for each track. So if you find that you're in, oops, if you find that you're in tracks and you can't see any MIDI coming out, that's probably because you haven't got that send MIDI enabled on the 4 tracks there. Okay, so that's another thing you have to do. And once you've done that, it will actually transmit MIDI both out of the DIN and the USB, and you can even go into your config in global config, and you can actually tell it how you want it to send MIDI in the MIDI config here in that menu. So it's actually pretty, I think it's pretty good. Like, honestly, it's opened up a whole nother cool aspect to this synth that really, it probably should have happened at the start, if I'm honest. Elektron should have enabled it at the start. I think they were worried about cross-polluting some of their products, but really they should just, these things are pretty expensive. Most Elektron gear is quite expensive. They're built really well anyway. So I think that answers the question. Now, if anyone's in the chat that actually did ask me that, make sure you sing out. If you're not, you can watch it on the replay and you can make a comment in the video below. Any of you guys want to make a comment about the Elektron Analog Four MIDI features? Or will we just move on to the next topic?
I don't really work with Electro. That's the only thing. With a small screen like that, and having to do those menu diving and dipping and not. I like to try and keep as little menu diving as possible. I have got things I have to menu dive, I know, but I try to really like to keep it as menu diving as literal as possible.
I'll show you something. Wait. I mean, that's a really good point, but I'll just show you something. So see, here we go. If I zoom out, that's now you can see that sitting on one of those little IKEA laptop things that you can buy from IKEA, and it's actually tilting it like up for me. Okay, now that you can see that's I'll stick my arms out. You can see me in the left-hand corner, and that's how far away it is. I've got my arms completely stretched out, so that screen is like 1 arm length away. So if you stick your arms out, Darren, in front of you, and look how far where your fingertip is, that's how far away the screen is from me, and I can see it perfectly. And I've got my glasses on, but that, if you don't need glasses, it's not going to be a problem, is it? So I don't find that screen too bad at that distance. If it was any further away, I'd probably have a problem with it. So, and I'm pretty critical about Elektron screens, but that actually isn't too bad at that distance. Like, I can see it perfectly. If it was sitting flat, I wouldn't be able to see it. So I've just had to add that little IKEA hack, to get it tilted up. And it's actually really quite nice to use when it's on an angle like that. And if you ever look at videos with people using Elektron gear all the time, you will notice that they do tilt their Elektron gear up. Like, you'll see even over there, the Octatrack, right, in the corner. So I'll do a better shot for you guys. There's the Octatrack. Notice how it's tilted. There's a much bigger screen on it too, by the way. It's about twice the size, that screen. So there you go. Yeah, it is a small screen. It could be bigger. It's definitely not like the MPC. But it's not that bad, honestly. It really isn't. There's not a lot that you really need on there, to be honest. And don't forget too, if you really want to delve into the Analog 4 synth, you can use Overbridge. And Overbridge is massive. Like, you can go right into nuts about sound design and stuff with Overbridge. So, yeah.
Have you tried it? Have you tried Overbridge? Because I haven't.
Do you want to see it? I can show you. Yeah, go on. Show it. So what you have to do, there's 2 different USB modes on this, right? Let me just zoom back in again so you can see the screen a bit better. There's 2 different USB modes. There's a normal USB mode, which is what this is in right now, and then there's a Overbridge mode. Now, if I can remember how to get into it, I think you have to go down to System, USB, yeah, and you can see there's an Overbridge mode. See that? So you just click yes, and now it's in Overbridge mode. So it will actually disconnect the MIDI. Oh, and even wow. Pity I didn't have my screen on for you guys just then. you will notice now, can you see how all of those Elektron MIDI things have disappeared now in here? I can't actually access them now. So it's
Yeah,
literally,
it's grayed out.
it's just dropped them out. So what I'll do now is I go into my VSTs, or my audio units, doesn't really matter, and I'll just drag that onto here, and there's Overbridge. Now, why is it not showing? Is it paused? Hello. There we go. Okay, so this is Overbridge. This is actually the beta. This is, don't ask me what version it is. It's beta 2. So this is not the, I think the public version is 1.5. This is the actual beta one that you get from Elektronaut's website. The only reason why I have to run the beta is because I've upgraded the firmware in the Analog 4 to have that MIDI out, and it won't work with the old Overbridge. So it works with the new, and you can see it's literally, you know, it's all there. You can actually play it. It actually runs in a way like an audio interface as well. It's pretty clever what it does. But in terms of sound design, you've got kits, and you can select your kits. Now you can go into here, and it's kind of got a browser, and this is where all your kits are kind of stored. All right, once you select kits, it'll load it. You've got each of your tracks. So in here, look at all the sound design. I mean, all of the stuff you can do on the actual, you know, on the synth itself. You don't need to have this, but this is everything kind of in front of you, in your face. And there's heaps to do on here. It's actually really, really cool. And you've got, so there's your 4 tracks across there, and then you've got your FX. So this is how you can actually control your FX a little bit better. I actually like this. This is really nice. And then you've got CV, because the Analog 4 has 4 CV connections on it, which you can sequence as well. So that's something that I'm actually really, I actually really like about the Analog 4. I actually use the CV track quite a lot on this, and you can muck around with CVs, modulators and stuff. So that is all in there. And then on top of that, you've got patch management, and you know, you can muck around with the syncing. You know, this sound browser, there's heaps. The sound browser is pretty cool. You can categorize it. So that's all Overbridge. That's really, really quick and dirty, Inky. So don't expect to be wowed by my bad Overbridge. But you can see it does bring a lot of the stuff in a bigger view. Like Darren, you were saying about the screen size. Well, there's no problem with the screen size with Overbridge, is there?
No, but you've got a VST then, I suppose, haven't you?
Well, it's not really a VST because it actually uses
I know
the
it's
hardware.
changing all.
Yeah.
I know it's changing all the parameters in the hardware,
Yeah.
but you're working at it like a VST.
Yeah, it's a little bit like using a Machina or a, you know, NPC Touch. It's kind of like that, but there's more to it than that. You can, you know, I mean, today when I was mucking around with the Analog 4, I was actually loading up sound. What do you call them? Sound. I think they call them sound sets, using the Elektron terminology. And you have to use this other piece of software that they've got, which is called C6, which is like a sysx thing, and you drop a sysx file into it, and it literally, you put it into like data receive mode, and it will receive sysx. It's actually pretty cool. Because it's an analog synth, all the sounds in this are actually, it's not like a sample that you can put into this. It's all the sounds are actually generated from this. So all the sounds that you hear on the Analog 4, drums, synths, everything are generated from the analog oscillators. So it's a pretty nifty thing. Anyway, we kind of got off tangent a bit there, but you know, that's just it's something that a lot of people don't want to touch because they're scared of the workflow. I mean, let's bring this topic back to workflow, right? A lot of people are scared of workflow of the Elektron gear. It actually ain't that bad. It really isn't. It's not that bad.
I wouldn't say they're scared of it. Well, it is a bit scary, let's be honest. But I think it's a different kind of workflow. It's a very geeky, sorry, not geeky, but that's a bad word. Technical. It's a very programming way of making music.
Yeah.
Rather than hit a note and that note stays there, you know, every bar or whatever. It's a very different way,
Yeah, maybe.
which you either like or you don't like.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could argue that the NPCs are programming ways as well. They just have a different way of doing it. So, you know, I think.
Well,
It's what
everything's
what works for
programming
you, really,
to an
isn't it?
extent, but there's a line where it becomes programming, and I think Elektron is. So instead of pressing a note, you're usually pressing a trigger and then dialing in the note.
Yeah, in the Analog 4, it's not quite. Yeah, I know what you're saying. In the Analog 4, it's not quite like that. Because don't forget, on the Analog 4, you've actually got a little keyboard. So there's your little keyboard there. There's your white notes and your black notes, right? So it's 1 octave. And you can actually play it like a key if you want. And the Analog 4 has the keys version as well, don't forget. It's like a complete synthesizer with keys. So this is kind of, I feel this one's kind of slightly out of that, what you're saying, Icky, where you hold down, you'd hold down that trig there, and you'd hold down a note, and then that would record that, and then you're kind of doing that and that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of more like the rhythm or even the octatrack works kind of similar to that. So in a way, this has kind of got its own little idiosyncrasies as well. I just noticed a couple of people have mentioned that they're on Overbridge 2 and their computers have been BSODing, which is blue screen of death. That's a Windows term. So this was on a Mac, so I haven't tried it on Windows yet. So yeah. Anyway, it was kind of off a little tangent. I was doing it because someone asked me to do it, and it was nice. It was, in a way, we're talking about workflow this week, so it does, Elektron's workflow does come up as a topic all the time. I'm not going to stick up for them, and I'm not going to knock them either, because I'm kind of on the fence. I find like there's a lot of gear I've got. I find there's things that I hate about it, and there's things that I love about it. So I'm finding the more I use it, I'm getting better at it though.
I think it's personal choice as well. There's no right or wrong. I've got a friend who's got a Digitax and Digitone, and he's making cracking like techno.
Yeah.
Really good. And I'm just looking at him, and I've got no idea how he's doing it.
Yeah, I think.
So there isn't any right or wrong. It's just what you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You either get on with that bit of equipment or you don't, and if you do, then that's brilliant. And if you don't, well, probably don't either sell it or don't keep it.
I honestly, you've probably heard people say this on social media. If you ever do get something from Elektron, even if you're just borrowing it off a mate, right, and you think to yourself, oh God, what have I got myself here? Go and watch Cuckoo's videos. Seriously, he has one of the best ways of teaching people how to use their gear, and he's been doing Elektron videos for ages on YouTube, and I will still go back and watch some of his videos. I'll fast forward to the bit that I need, just because I've forgotten how to do something, because it's quicker to do that than it is to find it in their manual or something. So if you really, really want to give it a crack, give it a real crack and see, okay, well, I want to prove to myself that I either am going to hate or love this Elektron gear, grab one off a mate, try it out, and then go watch a whole bunch of Cuckoo videos. I reckon if most people would find it actually pretty easy after they've done that. It's not too bad. So there's a plug for Cuckoo anyway. By the way, he's coming over to Australia too. Do you guys know that? He's coming over. He's flying over to New Zealand and to Australia. He's not coming over this side of Australia. He's going on the east coast. I actually messaged him telling that he was a bugger for not coming over here, because I would have put him up. He would have had a bed to sleep in if he was over here. But his tour is to do with some promotion company, so they're not coming over here. But yeah, there you go.
That goes for DAWs, doesn't it? As you were saying, the workflow. Some people get on with certain DAWs and not others. Like you were saying, some people hate Ableton because of the session view and the arrangement view. Some people can't get on with Logic and so on. So it's what suits you, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
Yeah, I reckon it does. And even with Eurorack, right? There's gonna be people that swear by Eurorack modules. They're gonna say, oh, you need to get blah blah blah, and well, one of the examples is we were talking about Math the other day from Make Noise, and there's another one by Bafako, which I think it's called Rampage. It's kind of similar, but they've got some different, but their function is the same at the core. And at the end of the day, there's people that will swear by the Bafako Rampage and other people that will swear by the Make Noise Math. And it's the same thing.
Isn't this brilliant that we're actually like debating different stuff? I mean, if you go back, you know, quite even, you know, to the 1990s, early, you know, turn of the century. I've got that right. Turn of the millennium.
Yep.
There wasn't that much choice. I mean, even a couple of years ago, there wasn't that much choice. If you wanted hardware, it was an Octatrack. There wasn't anything else.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in terms of sequences and stuff, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but isn't it great that we, you know, I see a lot of arguments, people saying this is better than this. Well, that's a silly argument because everyone's got their own. It's like arguing which flavour ice cream's the best.
Yeah.
You know, all ice cream is brilliant. You know.
The only if Cuckoo, if you're watching, the only criticism I've got of Cuckoo is clean your bloody mirror. Get some Windex and a paper towel and clean that mirror.
I don't think. I'm not sure he's big on.
I reckon he's just wiped it with his t-shirt before he does his videos.
As a true musician, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah. I'm only having a laugh. It's funny, but yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree with you, Inky, and I think it's great. It's great. And you know what? Music is like that, isn't it? Because you're gonna listen to someone's track and you're gonna go, it's a mate of yours, right? And listen to my track, and you're going, that's a nice track. On social media. It's the same thing. So we've all done it. We've all done a little white lie to our friends. I bet you everyone said that about my tracks. Yeah, it's alright, Reds. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, look, you're all smiling.
How close
you're
friends.
all smiling.
I'm really nasty to my really good friends. I tell them if it's not quite good enough.
You can get nasty. I have to admit, you can get nasty.
I had a best friend who was a DJ, and like everybody's like, "Oh, you're really good. You're really good." I was like, "You're not quite there yet," because everyone was telling him he's really good, and he wasn't quite there. That you know,
Yeah.
as a standard, as a professional standard, he weren't quite. So the day he did get it, and I told him, he knew that I meant it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't just be nice to everyone forevermore, because that's kind of cruel, isn't it? You know what I mean? If people say you're really good, and you go out and then you just get beers and rotten veg thrown out.
Your first live jam that you do in front of like 10 people, they're all walking out.
Come home, get all your stints, get rid of all the music stuff.
Go back to watching Netflix. That was kind of like what that meme was about today, wasn't it? Like they just like the stuff that was never recorded.
That's the stuff I like about my own work. The stuff is not. I haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, so you know, in terms of what we were talking about this week, Darren brought up that we should talk about workflow, and I think it's something that you could literally organically talk about workflow every week. I think you could almost have a workflow segment. Pro tip for the week, you know, you could do that. And I think the general consensus that everyone was kind of agreeing on here was your workflow should have, I think, a couple of foundational rules, don't you reckon, guys? It should be, make sure that what you're producing is kind of from the heart, it's from an emotional point, and there's no rules on how you start, and there's no rules on how you end. It's not very helpful, is it? And
well,
yeah.
and there's no rules at all, so don't get stuck in the production mastering side of things rather than concentrating on the actual track. Don't start thinking I need a compressor on this for a compressor's sake. Just forget about that and write the actual music. You can tweak things later, because half the time your compressors and things don't need to be on stuff, especially if you're getting sampled, which is probably being compressed anyway. So you don't need to start whacking compressors here, there, and everywhere just because it says so that you're supposed to have a compressor on this. Same with EQ boosting. I think I've heard somewhere it's always best to cut, but if you need to boost something, as long as it's not destroying the track, and you need to boost it because you want that particular bit of the sound out of in that frequency range, then boost it. It's what it sounds like at the end of the day. Unless you're destroying the track, that's obvious. You don't want to be boosting it and destroying your track. But if you need to get a certain, just one part of the frequency pulling out, and you've tried to drop cut frequencies through the whole track and it still ain't working, but you find boosting works, then boost. There's no rules. There's no rules to music, basically.
Yeah. Now, I just mentioned quickly that Facebook streams decided to die on me while I wasn't paying attention to it. So this was just a little side project that I was trying it out, and it's just kind of, it's failed on me twice. I don't know if I'll do that again. But yeah, you could. Most of the stream got through, I think. I don't know at what point it crashed. It's just crashed. Sorry, if you're on Facebook, you can't hear me anyway. Bad luck. There's no one there. It's like, you guys read my posts on Facebook. I post about stuff, and then I whinge about... There's like thousands and thousands of people that are following me on Facebook, and then I put a post up, and 63 people get it. What's the point in having thousands of people following you if Facebook aren't going to let those thousands of people see it because they want me to pay them? There's no point. I'll just give up.
No, you don't even want to pay them, because my friends are paying them, and they still got the same rubbish. But then now they get helpful little things like, you have no views today. Why? So no, it doesn't work. It's just so many people on Facebook, and we're all friends with so many people that like Facebook sites where you post jams, they're always a bit, unless you've got a really good one, mostly they're just people posting their own jams to anyone.
Yeah.
And there's only one I really know that isn't like that, which has got a good community. So I don't really get Facebook for music.
I don't either. I set up so basically what I'm talking about is my page. They call it a page, Facebook page, isn't it? If anyone's thinking about setting up their little music, gig as a Facebook page, I completely don't recommend it. Don't set up a Facebook page. Set it up as a group as opposed to a page, because it doesn't seem to be any restrictions when you put posts up in groups. They work a bit differently, I know, but when you set it up as a group, you just get people to join your group, and then everyone sees the post. So I think that's a little bit more freer. And the other thing too is, like, most of us, we're not making money from our pages or our Facebook thing. It's not there to, like, we're not trying to sell a product or anything like that. We just, it's just a place for us to share content, and I don't want it to be treated like a business, and most of you don't either. Some of you get successful, you might, and that's a different thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about just generally sharing stuff, because most people will message me and say, oh, I didn't know about something, like it was like last week it was a Discord link, right? And 50 people got the Discord link, but 2,700 people should have got it. So go figure. Anyway, so I actually have set up a group, and I've posted it on my Facebook page. It's probably like the third or fourth post down from the most recent. If you go in there and you can click on the link, it's just a Facebook group. I've called it what do I call it, Inky? Synths and streaming geekery or something. I don't know. It's basically everything that we kind of like to do, mucking around with synths and streaming on the internet. It's kind of that. It's kind of a bit of music, a bit of video, that kind of sort of together. It's for music people like us. Anyway, so that's what the group's about. But yeah, go check it out. Don't forget also, there is the Discord server going, and I've noticed there's a few people have joined, so it's growing, which is good. And I will chat in Discord during the week, so it's a good place to get off Facebook and to get off those other platforms. Discord's kind of a nice place to muck around, and if you haven't got Discord, go get it. It's good. You can actually do audio and video chats in Discord, which is pretty cool. And what else was going to say? There was something else. Oh, that's what it was. So when we are doing these live streams, I always bring up this page, guys. And you'll see below, like that was the last comment below me here. Now, there's a lot of people who don't actually know, but I've got a little cool thing that I can, you know, control. I've shown it before. Show it again. It's part of my streaming. Here we go. It's called vMix Social. Oh, it just went off. Why did you just go off? Anyway, it's called vMix Social. I don't know why it just went off just then. And I can control. Gee, that was annoying. Here we go. It's back. I can control what I can see. You can see all the YouTube comments feeding through there. It's actually really, really quick. So if I want, I can actually highlight a comment and add it to a queue, and it will pop below me, right? Now that doesn't just apply. That was Inky's comment there. There we go. I'll add that to the queue. Inky just said something about better to communicate. Here we go. Watch this. Let's see if it turns up. Give it a second. Sometimes you gotta wake it up. There you go. Look at that. So there's Inky's comment below. Now, if she says it in the if she says it in the YouTube chat, I can find it in there. But that's not the only place you can actually make comments. You can actually make them on Facebook, and you can also make them on Twitter. Now, if you're going to make them on Twitter, the only thing that you have to do, thanks Michael, by the way, you've got to use the hashtag Ranzi. It's very simple. If you want it to show up in that little queue that I can see, and you don't like, some people like to watch videos full screen and don't want to watch that YouTube chat on the side, that might be another option for you. You can just use Twitter, and you can put a hashtag on there. So I just thought I'd mention that because it's something that I forget to mention regularly anyway. So there's that. Also, cool. Right. The other thing is too, the invitation is still open to any of you who are in chat that want to come on the show as one of these wonderful people you can see here. I think Inky's going to have a rest. Was it next week or something, Inky? I can't remember what you said it was. It's coming up.
Yeah. I've got to go to my parents got married on the 29th of February. Thought it would be fun. So this will be their second ever real wedding anniversary, which I have now got to go to. So it's 7 hours on one day to go and spend the night, and then 7 hours on the way back. So that's what I'll be doing.
That's a long way. 7 hours.
Yeah. It is first in England, yeah, it is.
It is. Like that, you're just about going from one end to the other in 7 hours.
Hopefully I can join in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to join in the chat because, yeah. Can you tell I'm looking forward to this?
Very much so.
You're just looking for distractions right now, aren't you?
Basically, if I could get out of it, I would. I am going to be the token family member and not really know anyone there except my mother or father and my daughter. So, you know.
That'll be good. It'll be one of those moments.
Well, Darren, you know, like if I've travelled all that way, it's only 2 hours from where Darren lives. But Megadog, which was a massive event in Manchester in the 90s, and they had Decadog at Brixton Academy and all bands like Left Field and you name it, they've played at Megadog. Eat Statica always there. That's happening next Saturday, and I just keep thinking, couldn't I just get out of?
It takes you about 2 hours to get out of Cornwall, though, doesn't it? Because it's kind of like it's right down the bottom.
Basically, it takes half the time to get to Bristol.
Yeah,
which is your nearest proper city.
I remember driving down to Cornwall. Yeah, I remember driving down there. Yeah, I like that place though. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, next week we'll make sure that we say lots of bad things about you, so you can't actually answer them back.
I'll be in the chat.
All right. So whoever else wants to take Inky's place, the window is open. Like, you know, think of this like almost like the Brady Bunch. There's a window open. Oh, that way. Ew, there. down there. Boom. So you can jump in and tell us all about yourself, and don't be scared. I want this live stream channel to be kind of open and free for you guys. Don't be scared to come on. We're not going to buy it. It's good fun. It really is. And if you're worried about the gear that you've got to actually be able to do it, all you need is a laptop with a camera, if that's all you've got, or a computer with a little webcam. Most people have got some sort of device that's got a camera in it. You could probably even use a phone. And the software is pretty basic. You just use a browser to connect, so it's actually really easy. And you can get a little bit more crafty like we are. We're connecting up our audio interfaces and things like that, so you can do that too if you want. But just to keep it simple, you can do that. So yeah, the topic next week, I'm not going to announce it like I usually don't until sort of midweek, but we do have a nice topic next week, and I'm sure you guys will be excited once you hear what that is. Don't forget too, you're more than welcome to suggest a topic. I do get lots of people suggesting topics, and they email me or they message me. So Andrew Brooks wants to give it a try. Awesome, Andrew, definitely hook me up. I can tell you all about it. It's really, really easy, isn't it, guys? Just don't think about how many people are watching. Just don't think. Don't think there's lots of people watching out there. Just pretend you're just talking to yourself.
I'll just answer the question
in the chat.
Yeah, there's not many. I'll just answer the question.
That's not.
Finn asked me what headphones I was wearing. Are they AKGs? And I said no, they were lookalikes, cheap ones. And they are cheap ones actually, because I've noticed that if I turn the volume up quite high, they slightly distort with the bass in my earphones. So for ages I was going, I think I've got an issue with the bass, until I switched my headphones and realised it was these. They're supposed to have AKG drivers in them, but I think that's very unlikely.
I've got AKG sitting over there. You can just see them hanging up on. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know what they are. K240s. You guys who are into AKG, K240s. So the difference between those and these, I don't know if are yours sealed? Are yours studio monitoring, or are they enclosed?
They're enclosed. They're supposed to be studio monitoring flats, but I have my doubts.
So I find those AKGs, I can hear a lot of stuff outside of the headphones, whereas the Audio Technicas, the M50s, they completely seal your ear and you don't hear a lot of outside noise, which is cool. These have got cancer. Look at the cancer. Oh yeah,
proper used. I was probably going to go towards some biodynamic DTs.
Yeah, but yeah, I find the drivers in the Audio Technicas to take a little while to cure. You know how like speakers, you have to wear them in. So if you do get something like an Audio Technica, they're not going to sound perfect at the start. They might take a couple of weeks to cure, depending on how much you use them. And I find the AKGs to be, just in general, I mean this is quite general, I find them to be a little bit too natural sounding. Does that make sense? They lack a little bit of dynamic.
Yeah. I mean these, I've got to admit, these are really, really flat. But like I say, I think they're only a cheap lookalike version. So if I crank the volume up on the Roland Mk1, these are distorting quite easy.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, I think we can probably end the stream for this week. We're going to end it a little bit early than normal, which is good because we all work hard to do it. And I don't think there's really anything more we can add to our workflow topic anyway, is there? So what do you guys think? Say goodbye?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Love having you all.
Bye, everyone.
Good one.
Love having you all here.
Good week.
We'll let you guys finish your Saturday off.
Have a good week.
Hope you enjoyed the stream.
Yeah.
Don't forget to give us a little comment below.
Track tomorrow, be up, hopefully.
See you later. Thanks, everyone. and I'm going to hit the button.